This is the limit as x goes to positive infinity of 1 minus e raised to the x over 1, let's say, plus 2e raised to the x. So first I'm going to drop the 1's because they're relevant when x is going to infinity. So we'll have the limit as x goes to positive infinity on the bottom of negative e to the x, no more 1 in the numerator, and then 2e raised to the x, no more 1 in the denominator. Look at it carefully if you have to. Now I can cancel the e to the x parts because they're the same. So I'm going to have the limit as x goes to positive infinity of just negative 1 over 2. So that's just negative 1/2. The limit of a constant, the limit of negative 1/2 here is the constant. So what I did is I've canceled this one off here with this one here. And I've dropped the 1 and the 1. So let me explain the dropping of the 1's, especially because that part gets people. It seems arbitrary, but it's not. So I'm going to plot 1 minus e to the x. I'm plotting 1 minus e to the x. Look at it carefully, okay? All right, so look at the graph here. I'm going to zoom in on the graph of 1 minus e to the x. It looks like this. Pause the video if you have to. Look at the shape of the graph, especially over here. Then I'm going to plot with it negative e to the x. Why am I doing that? Because that's the same version, but without the 1 being attached to it anymore. Okay, and that looks like this. So they look kind of different in certain places, but what's important is the fact that they look pretty much the same over here. So that's telling us when x is going to positive infinity this way, where the arrow is pointing to the right, that's going to positive infinity along the x-axis. The y-coordinates along that arrow are going to the same negative infinity. So for example, that means we can write 1 minus e to the x, and for the purposes of the limit, it's about the same as negative e to the x. So that's important to understand because that means here, at this step, you can drop the constants of 1 and 1 in the numerator and denominator. It applies to both. Leave a like if it's helpful.